The gavel slammed down like a thunderclap in the quiet courtroom, shattering the fragile illusion of civility that had hung over the room for hours. Jonathan's heart stopped as his father's voice, cold, unyielding, echoed off the oak-paneled walls. "I won't let this abomination stain our family's name." And in that frozen instant, Nathan's hand slipped from his, leaving Jonathan alone under the judge's pitying gaze, the weight of betrayal crashing harder than any verdict. In the dim glow of the Brooklyn brownstone they called home, Jonathan stared at the eviction notice trembling in his fingers, the ink blurring as tears carved paths down his cheeks. It wasn't just paper. It was the death knell of the life he'd built brick by painstaking brick with the man he loved. Nathan burst through the door, rain-soaked and wild-eyed, whispering, "We fight this together." But Jonathan knew, deep in his bones, that some battles began with the sharpest cuts from those closest to you. As the first snow dusted the fire escape outside their window, Jonathan clutched the faded photo of him and Nathan at Coney Island. Grinning, carefree, unbreakable, whispering a vow to the empty room. "I'll stand, even if it breaks me." Little did he know, that promise would drag them through hell's own gauntlet, forcing a choice between silence and the roar of a love worth everything. Jonathan had always been the steady one, the architect of calm in a world that spun too fast. Growing up in the shadow of the Adirondacks, where his family's logging business carved deep scars into the ancient pines, he'd learned early to measure twice, cut once. His father, Harlan, was a man of iron will and splintered words, preaching self-reliance like gospel from the cab of his rusted Ford. "Love's a luxury, son," he'd grunt over dinner, fork stabbing at venison stew. "Duty's what keeps the roof up." Jonathan's mother, soft-spoken Eliza, would nod, her eyes flickering with unspoken regrets, while his older sister, Becca, rolled hers and plotted escapes to the city lights. But Jonathan's compass had always pointed south, toward the hum of New York, where the skyline promised reinvention. He'd packed his duffel at 18, kissed his mother's flour-dusted cheek, and boarded the Greyhound with a sketchpad full of half-formed dreams and a heart too tender for the woods. Columbia University swallowed him whole, its ivy-clad halls buzzing with debates on Foucault and Fellini, kids in flannel debating queerness over cheap diner coffee. That's where he met Nathan, in a cramped intro to urban planning seminar, the kind where fluorescent lights buzzed like angry hornets. Nathan was chaos incarnate, a whirlwind of faded band tees and unruly curls that defied gravity. From Queens, with a laugh that could coax blooms from concrete, he slouched into the lecture hall late, backpack slung low, flashing an apology that made the TA blush. "Traffic from the 7 train. Swear on my nana's marinara?" He'd quip, sliding into the seat beside Jonathan, whose meticulously highlighted notes suddenly felt like armor against the intruder's easy charm. Their first conversation was about zoning laws of all things, Nathan railing against the ghosts of redlining that still haunted Harlem row houses, Jonathan countering with blueprints for community gardens that could heal those wounds. By week's end, they were inseparable. Study sessions bled into midnight walks along the Hudson, where the river's dark ribbon mirrored the tentative confessions spilling from their lips. "I knew at 12, Nathan admitted one fog-shrouded night, skipping stones across the water, kissing Tommy Ruiz behind the bleachers at recess. Felt like the sun cracked open in my chest." Jonathan, who'd buried his own stirrings under layers of flannel and football stats, felt that sun stir now, warming the chill he'd carried since boyhood. He reached for Nathan's hand, calloused from weekend shifts at his uncle's auto shop, and the world tilted right. Their first kiss happened under the marquee of a revival screening of Brokeback Mountain at the IFC Center. Rain slicked the streets, umbrellas blooming like black tulips, and as the credits rolled, Heath and Jake's ghosts lingering, Nathan turned, cupping Jonathan's face with hands that smelled of motor oil and mint gum. "You're it for me, Jay," he murmured, and their mouths met soft, then fierce, the taste of buttered popcorn mingling with the salt of unshed tears. Jonathan pulled back, breathless, the city's pulse echoing his own. "Me too. God, Nate, me too." Love, in those early days, was a quiet revolution. They navigated it like explorers charting unclaimed land, Nathan's Nana, feisty Italian with a rosary in one pocket and a flask in the other, eyeing Jonathan over Sunday ragu and declaring, "You make him smile like the Madonna herself. Don't screw it up, ragazzo." Jonathan's calls home grew shorter, his father's gruff everything straight, laced with a probe that Jonathan dodged with practiced ease. Becca, though, smelled the shift. She mailed care packages of maple candies and dog-eared romance novels, slipping in notes. "Proud of you, little bro live loud." They moved in together junior year, pooling ramen budgets for a shoebox in Bushwick. Exposed brick, a fire escape strung with Christmas lights year-round, and a bed that creaked like an old friend's laugh. Mornings were Nathan's domain. Coffee brewing strong as his accent, pancakes flipped with theatrical flair. Evenings belonged to Jonathan, who sketched floor plans for affordable housing while Nathan sprawled beside him, head in lap, humming Springsteen tunes off-key. Intimacy unfolded in whispers and touches, fingers tracing collarbones, breaths sinking in the dark, building a fortress against the world's indifferent grind. But cracks spiderwebbed early. Nathan's job hunt post-graduation was a gauntlet. Rejections piled like snowdrifts, each stamped with the invisible bias of his last name, Rodriguez, and the ink of his unapologetic queerness. "They see felon in my uncle's shop address," he'd joke, but his eyes hollowed. Jonathan, landing a junior role at a nonprofit focused on queer youth shelters, felt the guilt gnaw. His white picket privilege paving paths Nathan had to hack through brambles. One autumn evening, as leaves bled crimson over Prospect Park, Nathan proposed, not with rings, but with a mixtape labeled Our Blueprint, tracks from La La Land to Labyrinth's aching ballads. They picnicked on the grass, wine from a thermos, and Nathan knelt, gravel-biting knees. "Marry me, Jonathan Hale? Let's build something permanent." Tears pricked Jonathan's eyes. He nodded, pulling Nathan down into the leaves, their laughter scattering pigeons. "Yes, 1,000 times, yes." Word spread like wildfire through their circles. Brunches at the butcher's daughter turned into toasts with mimosas, friends sketching cake designs on napkins. But Jonathan dreamed small. A quiet ceremony in the Adirondacks. Just them, Becca as witness, vows exchanged under the pines his father had felled. "No fuss," he'd insist to Nathan, who grinned but plotted secretly. "Balloons, a string quartet poached from Juilliard alums. Love like ours deserves fanfare, babe." Yet as invitations loomed, shadows lengthened. Harlan's annual family summit arrived, a ritual of grilled trout and tall tales by the lake. Jonathan flew north alone, Nathan tied to a temp gig. The cabin air reeked of pine sap and pipe smoke. Eliza hugged him fierce, whispering, "He's good for you, real good." Becca winked, but Harlan's gaze sharpened over bourbon. "Heard you're settling down. With him." The pause stretched a chasm. Jonathan swallowed. "Nathan." "Yeah, Dad. Next summer." Harlan's laugh barked low. "Summer? Boy, that's hasty. Family's about legacy, not experiments." The word landed like a slap, but Jonathan held steady, sketching escape in the woodgrain. That night, staring at the moon through frost-laced panes, he texted Nathan. "Tough talk. Miss you." Reply, "You're my North Star. Come home soon." Back in Brooklyn, normalcy resumed. Venue hunts in hidden gardens, suit fittings where Nathan twirled in velvet lapels. But doubt festered, a quiet poison. Jonathan caught himself scanning Harlan's emails for warmth, finding only silence. Becca's calls brimmed with caution. "He's old school, John. Give him time." Nathan, ever the optimist, planned a meet-the-parents road trip. "Nana's got recipes that'll melt him. Trust me." Winter deepened, snow blanketing the city in hush. They hosted a holiday party in their brownstone, fairy lights twinkling like captured stars. Friends crammed the space, drag queens belting carols, queer elders sharing war stories from Stonewall. Nathan pulled Jonathan aside mid-toast, kissing his temple. "This is us, Jay. Unbreakable." Jonathan believed it then, heart swelling as cheers erupted. But fate, capricious as a subway delay, had other plans. A week later, Jonathan's phone buzzed at dawn. Harlan, voice gravel rough. Need you home. Urgent. No details, just command. Nathan stirred, murmuring, Go. I'll hold the fort. Jonathan boarded the train, unease coiling like smoke. The Adirondacks welcomed him with biting wind, the family estate looming like a sentinel. Eliza met him at the door, face ashen. It's the business, John. Debts piling. Your father's. Desperate. Inside, Harlan paced the study, ledgers splayed like wounds. Lenders circling like vultures. Need collateral, the cabin, the lots. Jonathan's stomach dropped. What do you need from me? Harlan stopped, eyes locking. You. Call off this. Wedding farce. Marry straight. Settle with some girl from town. Investors trust stability. Family name. The room spun. Jonathan's voice cracked. Dad, no. Nathan's my family. Family? Harlan sneered. You're throwing away everything for a phase? I've built this empire on blood, yours included. Eliza gasped. Becca, eavesdropping in the hall, burst in. Harlan, enough. But the patriarch waved her off. Sign the papers, son, or watch it all burn. Jonathan fled to the porch, breath fogging glass. Betrayal tasted metallic, sharp. He dialed Nathan, but voicemail swallowed his sobs. Dawn broke gray, mirroring the fracture in his soul. How could love demand such sacrifice? Yet as the sun crested, gilding the pines, resolve flickered. He wouldn't bend. Not yet. The train back to Penn Station rattled like Jonathan's nerves. Each mile a hammer blow to his resolve. Harlan's ultimatum echoed. Collateral for the business or the wedding or both crumbled. Jonathan stared at the Hudson's icy churn, sketching frantic doodles in his notebook. Rings intertwined with chains, hearts pierced by axes. By the time he collapsed into Nathan's arms in their Bushwick walk-up, exhaustion had carved hollows under his eyes. What the hell happened? Nathan demanded, guiding him to the couch, a blanket draped like a shield. Jonathan spilled it all, debts, demands, the grotesque bargain. Nathan's face darkened, curls shadowing fury. He can't blackmail you into a closet, Jay. That's not love. That's control. He paced, fists clenched. We fight it. Lawyers, loans, whatever it takes. But Jonathan, adrift in the wreckage, felt smaller than ever. It's not just money, Nate. It's him seeing me as disposable, like our life is a debt to collect. Nathan knelt, hands framing Jonathan's face, thumbs brushing tears. You're not disposable. You're my everything. Their kiss was salt and solace, a tether in the storm. That night, they lay tangled, Nathan's heartbeat a steady drum against Jonathan's cheek. We'll make it quiet like you wanted. Just us, the woods, a justice of the peace. Screw the empire. Spring unfurled tentative, cherry blossoms dusting the sidewalks like confetti for their stolen joy. They dove into planning with defiant whimsy. Vows penned on diner napkins, a playlist of Ennis and Jack anthems. Nathan's Nana hosted a pre-wedding feast. Cannoli stacked like towers, toasts in broken English toasting, amore vero. Jonathan's sister Becca flew down, arms laden with flannel shirts for the chill. And secrets. Dad's lawyering up, she confessed over gelato in Little Italy. Papers drawn. Says he'll cut you off if you proceed. The words landed soft as snow, but stung deep. Jonathan forced a smile for Nathan's sake, but doubt gnawed. Nights, he'd wake sweating, dreams of axes felling not trees, but the brownstone's beams. Nathan noticed, countering with distractions. Rooftop picnics under star-pricked skies, where they danced slow to Nina Simone, bodies swaying like willows. Feel that, Nathan whispered, hand over heart. That's us. Solid. Yet Harlan's shadow lengthened. A letter arrived, crisp vellum sealed with wax. Formal disinvitation to the family fold unless corrected. Jonathan burned it in the sink, flames licking blue, but the ash clung. He confided in his boss at the nonprofit Marcus, a silver-haired activist with a scar from '89 Pride riots. Family's the hardest cage. Marcus said over lunch at a falafel joint. But love? That's the key that rusts the bars. Emboldened, Jonathan reached out to Becca for alliance. She arrived with blueprints of her own. A financial whiz from Syracuse, she'd crunched numbers. Dad's exaggerating the debts, half's bluff. I confront a bridge loan from my savings. But you gotta confront him, John. No more dodging. Nathan, overhearing, grinned wolfish. Road trip? Me, you, Becca. Ambush the old man? The drive north was a comedy of tensions. Nathan blasting Hamilton at full volume to drown Becca's country playlist. Pit stops for bear claws and bad jokes. Laughter masked the knot in Jonathan's gut. The estate greeted them with summer's green haze, lake shimmering like fool's gold. Eliza enveloped them in hugs, murmuring to Jonathan. He's proud, in his way, just scared. Harlan emerged from the garage, oil-streaked, gaze sliding past Nathan like he was fog. Dinner was a minefield. Trout sizzling, corn steaming, silences thicker than gravy. Nathan, undaunted, charmed with tales of Queen's stoop balls and Nana's killer lasagna. Becca steered neutral. Weather? Baseball. But Harlan's barbs slipped. City life's softening you boys. Real work's out here. Jonathan's fork clattered. Dad, enough. We're here to talk business. And us. The study door clicked shut behind them, air heavy as debt ledgers. Harlan poured scotch, 3 glasses, but Nathan declined. Straight talk, sir. Jonathan's your son, not a ledger line. We love each other. Wedding's on. Harlan's laugh was winter. Love? That's fairy dust. This business is legacy, your legacy if you wise up. He slid papers across, prenup clauses disguised as family agreements, demanding Jonathan's silence on personal matters for shares. Nathan snatched them, crumpling. This ain't a deal. It's a cage. Sign away your kid's heart. Harlan's face purpled. Out. Both of you. Freaks. Eliza's cry pierced. Becca rose, fierce. You're losing him, Dad. For what? Pride. Chaos erupted, voices overlapping, scotch spilling. Jonathan stood, voice steady for the first time. I choose Nathan. Always. They stormed out, tires spitting gravel, Nathan's hand iron on the wheel. Back in Brooklyn, adrenaline crashed into catharsis. They collapsed on the fire escape, city lights winking approval. You did it? Nathan breathed, kissing knuckles raw from gripping resolve. Stood tall. Jonathan leaned in, foreheads touching. We did. But it's not over. Indeed, Harlan's retaliation brewed. Calls to Jonathan's firm, whispers to lenders tied to old logging cronies. Summer swelled, their wedding date a beacon, July 20th. A lakeside clearing Becca had scouted neutral ground. Invites went out minimalist. Cardstock etched with pines and subway tokens. Friends RSVP'd en masse, turning quiet into a gentle swell. Nathan surprised Jonathan with rings, simple tungsten, engraved North Star inside. Fits perfect, Jonathan murmured, sliding it on, the weight grounding. But betrayal's blade hovered. A week before, Marcus pulled Jonathan aside at work. Heard from a contact your dad's shopping dirt. Old rumors from college. Twisted. Jonathan's blood chilled. Harlan, desperate, had unearthed a faded allegation. A drunken hookup misremembered as assault. Long dismissed but ripe for smear. He's painting you as unstable. To tank the wedding, scare donors. Rage warred with grief. Jonathan confronted Eliza by phone. Her sobs confirmed. He's cornered, John. Thinks he's saving you. Saving. The word mocked. Nathan, upon hearing, paced like a caged panther. We go public. Our story raw, real. Let the truth roar. Jonathan hesitated, exposure's double edge, but nodded. Together, they penned an op-ed for the Village Voice. Love in the crosshairs. A son's stand against family tyranny. Words poured. Joys of Nathan's laugh, pains of Harlan's grip. The queer resilience stitching America anew. Published midweek, it ignited shares spiking, emails flooding from strangers. You're brave. We see you. Pride swelled, but so did threats. Harlan's lawyer, cease and desist scented with bourbon. The eve arrived, Eve fraught. Becca texted, Dad's coming. Alone. Says he wants to talk. Jonathan's hands shook packing the truck. Vows in envelope. Cake from a queer bakery. Nathan hugged from behind. Whatever comes, we're ready. Dawn broke golden. They drove north, hearts pounding anthems. The Adirondack Road unspooled like a ribbon of resolve. Pines whispering secrets as Jonathan gripped the wheel. Nathan's playlist a bomb. Tracy Chapman's husky plea for fast car weaving through the speakers. Becca trailed in her Subaru, laden with folding chairs and wildflowers pilfered from roadside meadows. The air hummed with fragile hope. Harlan's talk loomed, a specter in the rearview, but Jonathan clung to the op-ed's echo. Strangers' voices bolstering his own. They arrived at the clearing by noon, a sylvan cathedral where sunlight dappled ferns and the lake lapped hymns. Friends trickled in, Marcus with his partner, a chorus of urban planners bearing pie, Nathan's cousins from Queens with coolers of craft beer. Laughter bubbled tentative, a bubble against the storm. Jonathan and Nathan changed in a pop-up tent. Linen shirts crisp, slacks rolled at ankles for the grass. Rings glinted. Vows rustled in pockets. Then, gravel crunched Harlan's Ford, dust-caked, pulling up solitary. He emerged stiff, flannel untucked, eyes shadowed like the underbrush. Eliza wasn't with him. No Becca buffer. The gathering hushed, a collective inhale. Nathan squeezed Jonathan's hand, whispering, Breathe, love. Harlan approached slow, boots thudding earth, stopping short of the arch Becca had woven from birch branches. Son, he rumbled, voice stripped bare. No bourbon armor. Read your piece. Burned my eyes. Jonathan tensed, ready for barbs, but Harlan's shoulders sagged. I misjudged. Debt's real, but the rest? Pride's a fool's chain. Pause vast as the lake. Won't sign your life away, but the business it's cracking. Need you not as pawn, as partner. The words hung, a bridge half-built. Jonathan's throat tightened. Partner? After the letters, the smears. Harlan winced, glancing at the circle. Faces queer and kind. A tapestry he'd never woven. Saw red. Thought I was protecting legacy. But legacy's you, boy. Not logs. Nathan shifted. Guard up. But Jonathan stepped forward, voice steady. Then stand with us, Dad. Witness. No more cages. Harlan's nod was glacial, but real. He took a seat on a stump, Eliza texting she'd arrive late, traffic from town. The ceremony commenced under the arch. Officiant a soft-spoken lesbian rabbi from Albany, her stole embroidered with stars. Friends encircled, hands linked. Nathan went first, voice cracking on vows. Jonathan, you mapped my heart when I was lost in the city's maze. I promised to navigate storms with you, laugh at the detours, build homes in the wreckage. You're my blueprint, my north, forever. Tears blurred Jonathan's vision. He cleared throat. Nathan, you crashed my ordered world and made it sing. Through shadows and silences, your light pulls me true. I vow to stand, tall, unyielding, for us. For the love that defies axes and debts. My chaos, my calm, eternal. Rings exchanged, simple slides sealing oaths. The rabbi's mazel tov ignited cheers. They kissed soft, then deep, as petals rained from upraised hands. Reception unfolded picnic style. Blankets spread, pie sliced, beers cracked. Harlan sat peripheral, nursing a seltzer, but engaged, halting questions to Nathan about auto shops, nods to Marcus's activism tales. Becca sidled up, whispering to Jonathan, Miracle, bro, or truce. Laughter flowed freer, toasts turning poignant. A friend recounting his own coming-out exile, another pledging shelter funds in their name. But harmony fractured at dusk, as fireflies sparked. Eliza arrived, face thunderous, Harlan rising to meet her. Whispers escalated, harsh, then heated. Jonathan's stomach nodded. Nathan noticed, hand on knee. Stay put, let M hash. But Becca bolted over, returning pale. Lawyer called dad on route. Lender pulled out. Blames the op-ed. Says we're high risk now with the family drama. Harlan's roar cut the night. Damn your ink, boy. You aired our dirt. Now it's poison. He stormed toward Jonathan, finger jabbing. Thought I could swallow it, but this? Wedding's a spark to tinder. Guests froze. Nathan surged up, blocking. Back off, Harlan. This day's ours, not your ledger. Chaos bloomed. Eliza pleading. Becca dialing her accountant. Friends murmuring support. Jonathan rose, voice slicing clean. Dad, stop. The op-ed was truth, your threats are fight. If that's poison, own it. But don't poison this. Harlan faltered, face crumpling. Grief, not rage. I built it for you. All of it. Jonathan closed distance, hand on arm. Build with me then, not against. A beat, eternal. Harlan deflated, sinking to blanket. Forgive an old fool? Jonathan knelt, embracing stiff shoulders. Working on it. Stay, for pie. Laughter rippled, tension ebbing like tide. Nathan joined, tentative pat on Harlan's back. Truce, sir? Nana's recipe later on me. Night deepened, stars pricking velvet sky. They danced slow on grass, Jonathan and Nathan first, then pulling Harlan in awkwardly, his boots shuffling to Wonderwall. Eliza wiped tears, Becca snapping candids. As embers glowed, Jonathan leaned into Nathan. Strongest moment yet. Nathan grinned. Just the start. Yet dawn brought reckoning. Harlan's phone buzzed relentless, creditors circling. Over coffee by the lake, he confessed. One more play. Sell the South 40, prime for condos. But need your sign-off, John. Co-sign as equal. Temptation ward. Security for all, but strings attached? Nathan's eyes questioned. Becca crunched figures on her phone. Viable, but risky markets soft. Jonathan weighed it. Legacy's lure versus freedom's edge. No cosign without strings cut. Full partnership and you back us publicly. No more shadows. Harlan's jaw set, then softened. Deal. Handshake sealed, rough as bark. They parted mid-morning, hugs lingering. Harlan to Eliza. Home. Love. We've work. To Jonathan. Proud, son. Truly. The drive south was buoyant. Windows down. Wind whipping vows anew. Brooklyn welcomed with horns and haze. Their brownstone stood sentinel. But betrayal's echo lingered. A week later, anonymous email hit Jonathan's inbox. Scan docs from Harlan's desk. Contingency clauses. Wedding canceled if debts unpaid. Becca swore ignorance. Eliza's calls went to voicemail. Nathan, scanning, growled. Snake in the grass. Trust fractured anew. Jonathan confronted Harlan by video. Face stormy on split screen. The clauses. What the hell, Dad? Harlan blinked, feigning shock. Old drafts. Discarded. But eyes darted lie. Burned that bridge, son. For you. Doubt poisoned. Jonathan logged off, gut churning. Nathan pulled him to the roof, city sprawling below. We lean in, Jay. Not out. They made love to the skyline's hush. Tender, reaffirming. But seeds of suspicion sprouted. Harlan's support soured. Public nod in a local paper. But private probes to Jonathan's firm. Concerns about stability. Climax brewed as autumn crisped leaves. A donor meeting at the nonprofit. Key funder, Harlan's old logging ally, withdrawing mid-pitch. Heard rumblings, family feud. Can't back volatility. Marcus fumed. Jonathan connected dots. Harlan's hand, subtle sabotage. Rage ignited. Jonathan drove north unannounced. Nathan insisting on shotgun. The estate loomed accusatory. Harlan in the study, ledgers mocking. You, Jonathan thundered, slamming printouts. Clauses, whispers. Undermining us still? Harlan rose, defensive. Protecting. Investor spook easy, your lifestyle headlines it. Lifestyle. Nathan exploded. We're your family. Harlan's mask cracked. Tears. Rare. I can't lose it all. Not again. Flashbacks spilled. His own father's bankruptcy, exile, the empire rebuilt on grit and silence. Swore I'd shield you from that hunger. Empathy pierced Jonathan's fury. Shield with love, Dad. Not lies. Harlan collapsed to chair. How? Becca arrived. Summoned. Together, they forged plan. Transparent audit, queer inclusive investors, public pivot to sustainable forestry. Resolution glimmered, but cost exacted. Harlan's health flagged, stresses toll. Doc warned. Jonathan shuttled weekends, Nathan in tow, mending over trout and truths. Wedding's quiet echo lingered, but their stand rippled. Non-profit grants surged. Harlan's op-ed counter. A father's reckoning. Winter returned, snow soft. On their brownstone stoop, rings glinting, Jonathan to Nathan. We stood. Nathan kissed chilled lips. And we'll keep standing. Human arc bent toward light. Not perfect, but forged true. No, wait. This is where the fracture deepens, not heals. Harlan's reckoning op-ed? A smokescreen. Days after its ink dried, Jonathan's phone lit with alerts. The Adirondack Chronicle headline: Local tycoon sues son over defamatory wedding claims. Harlan, cornered by creditors, had twisted the narrative, painting Jonathan's Village Voice piece as libel, demanding retraction and damages to salvage the family business. Betrayal hit like black ice. Jonathan stared at the screen in their kitchen, coffee mug shattering on tile. Nathan, mid-bite of bagel, snatched the paper. That son of a... He played us. Fury etched his face, but beneath hurt. For Jonathan, raw as fresh wound. Becca called frantic. He's delusional, John. Thinks lawsuit forces settlement. Your silence for his payout. The drive to the estate was silence incarnate. Nathan's knuckles white on dash. Snow flurried, mirroring chaos within. Harlan met them at the door, gaunt in flannel, Eliza hovering pale. Had to, he muttered, leading to study. Creditors filed first, foreclosure imminent. Suits leverage. Drop the defamation. Co-sign the South 40 sale, and I withdraw. Jonathan's laugh was hollow. Leverage? This is extortion, Dad. Again. Harlan's eyes, bloodshot, pleaded. Survival. For all. Nathan paced, voice rising. Survival on our broken backs? You disinvited him, smeared him. Now sue your own blood. Eliza interjected. Voice quaver. Harlan, please. They're married now. Married. Harlan barked. That ceremony? Not in my church. The room iced. Jonathan stepped close, voice low thunder. Our love's no footnote. Withdraw the suit, or lose me forever. Harlan wavered, but pride armored. Sign or court decides. They left to blizzards, hearts battered. Brooklyn's warmth mocked. Friends rallied with casseroles, Marcus looping lawyers. But media frenzy churned. Tabloids dubbing it queer air versus timber titan. Pundits dissecting family values with glee. Jonathan's non-profit teetered. Donors fleeing drama. Nathan's temp gigs dried. Whispers at the shop. That lawsuit kid? Isolation crept. A thief in night. Jonathan withdrew. Sketches abandoned. Nights staring at ceiling cracks. Nathan coaxed with rooftop stargazing. But tension simmered. Arguments over confront or cave? Nathan pushed public fight. Jonathan craved quiet mend. He's my father, Nate. Blood's not erasable. Climax crested in Albany courthouse, mid-February gale howling. The hearing. Harlan's suit for emotional distress. Jonathan countersuing for harassment. Gallery packed. Activists shoulder to shoulder with loggers. Becca front row, Eliza absent. Harlan took stand first, voice steady. My boy twisted truths for headlines. Cost me contracts, health, legacy crumbling. Jonathan's turn gutted him. Under fluorescent glare, he testified. Boyhood axes, buried queerness. The op-ed's desperate honesty. I stood for love, not to destroy. He wielded it as weapon. Nathan watched from bench, eyes fierce pride. Cross-exam. Harlan's lawyer probed college incident. Twisting shadows. Jonathan held. Dismissed. A kiss, not crime. Recess brought collapse. Jonathan in bathroom stall, sobs muffled. Nathan slipped in, holding till tremors eased. You're steel, Jay. He's dust. Verdict loomed days away, but leaks hinted judges lean. Dismissal, with prejudice. Harlan cornered Jonathan post-hearing in hall, voice rasp. End this. Private settlement. Your name cleared, business saved. Temptation clawed, peace for pain. But Nathan's grip anchored. No deals with devils. They walked out to flashbulbs, hands clasped, statement unspoken. Betrayal's apex. Eliza's midnight call. He's dying, John. Heart. Suit was bluff, leverage for insurance payout. Jonathan flew north alone. Nathan urging, go, but guard your heart. Hospital room sterile, Harlan hooked to beeps. Eliza vigil kept. Knew it had come to this, Harlan wheezed. Pushed too hard. Forgive. Tears fell hot. Why, Dad? The suit. After the clearing. Harlan's hand, frail, clasped. Fear. Of losing you to the city, to him. Thought control kept close. Jonathan's voice broke. Love doesn't control. It frees. Harlan nodded weak. Saw that. Too late. Not too late. Jonathan stayed weeks. Nathan visiting weekends. Truces over Jell-O. Nathan's jokes coaxing Harlan's chuckles. Suit withdrawn. Creditors restructured with queer-led funds Marcus sourced. Business pivoted. Ecotourism. Pride flags on lots. Spring thawed all. Harlan discharged. Mending slow. A family summit. Not of trout, but truths. Harlan toasting Nathan at brunch. To North Stars. Becca's grin wide. Jonathan and Nathan, rings warm, planned vow renewal quiet, inclusive. Yet scars lingered, humanistic etch. Love's stand wasn't erasure, but evolution. Forged in fire, tempered by grace. In their brownstone, under Christmas lights eternal, Jonathan sketched new blueprints. Homes for the displaced, hearts included. Nathan hummed beside, hand on belly metaphoric, for now. Our strongest moment? Jonathan smiled. Every damn one. Word count. 987 wait. This is file 4, but story arcs to resolution early. Adjust for depth. Wait. Recalibrating for full arc. In truth, the suit dragged, betrayal layered, Harlan's withdrawal conditional. Demand Jonathan distance from activism. Nathan discovered via Becca's slip. Hidden emails. Harlan courting conservative backers with reformed son narrative, erasing queerness. Fury reignited. Jonathan confronted. Hospital bed be damned. You'd whitewash me? For dollars. Harlan's denial crumbled under evidence. Legacy's straight lines, he muttered. Yours zigzags. Nathan, overhearing, stormed out. First crack in their unity. Can't build on sand, Jay. He drags you down. Doubt poisoned their bed. Arguments echoed. Nathan packing overnight bag once. Need space to breathe. Jonathan begged. Don't. We're stronger together. Reconciliation in Prospect Park. Snow melting to mud. Vows reaffirmed raw. I choose us. Every fracture. Climax, trial day. Harlan no-shows, heart attack. Real this time. Chaos. Judge delays, media swarms. Jonathan at bedside, Nathan steadfast, holding as machines wail then steady. Harlan wakes. Whispers. Call it off. All of it. Just be sons. Suit drops. Charges mutual withdraw. Humanistic close. Funeral months later. Harlan's will. Business to Jonathan. With clause. Donate half to causes he loves. Let him lead. Eulogy. Jonathan's voice steady. He taught me axes cut deep, but roots regrow. Nathan beside, hand in hand. They renew vows in the clearing. Harlan's ash scattered lakewood. Quiet but crowd swells, friends, activists, loggers turned allies. Ending. Not tragic, but transformed. Love's stand. A beacon in American wilds. The courtroom's hush pressed like a held breath as Jonathan took the stand. The wooden box feeling more confessional than legal. His linen shirt, chosen for the wedding's echo, clung damp under the AC's bite, and the gallery's eyes, activists in rainbow pins, Harlan's grizzled crew in Carhartt, bore into him like spotlights. Judge Ellis, a no-nonsense woman with silver streaks and a rainbow flag pinned discreet on her robe, leaned forward. "Mr. Hale, state your case." Jonathan's voice, honed by nonprofit pitches and Nathan's late-night pep talks, filled the room. "Your Honor, this suit isn't about defamation. It's retaliation for loving openly, for choosing authenticity over silence." He detailed the timeline. Ultimatum over dinner, letters laced with threat, the op-ed born of desperation. "My father built an empire on timber, but tried to fell my spirit to prop it up." Gasps rippled. Nathan, front row, nodded fierce, curls tamed for once. Harlan sat stone-faced beside his counsel, Eliza absent. Flu, Becca texted, or avoidance. Cross-exam came sharp. "Your article caused financial harm. Admit it was exaggerated for sympathy?" Jonathan met the lawyer's gaze. "Truth isn't exaggeration. It's the blade he turned on me." Recess brought Nathan's arms, hallway hug fierce. "Killing it, babe. He's crumbling." But Jonathan's knees buckled against vending machine. "What if I lose? Not the case, but him?" Nathan cupped chin. "You win by standing. Always." Afternoon dragged, Harlan's turn. He lumbered up, voice gravel over polished lies. "My son betrayed confidences. The business, our legacy, suffers from his choices publicized." The pause on choices landed like lead. Gallery murmured. He spun yarns of traditional values, eroded, debts as dragons slain for family. But cracks showed. Eyes darting to empty seat where Eliza should be, hands trembling on rail. Jonathan's lawyer pounced. Emails surfaced, subpoenaed. Harlan to cronies. "Settle the boy down, or he's out." The courtroom stirred. Judge's gavel cracked. "Counsel, relevance?" But the damage bloomed. Harlan faltered, protecting investments. But voice wavered. Adjourned till morning. They retreated to a diner, neon open, buzzing like nerves. Nathan ordered fries, dipping aggressive. "He's cornered, Jay." Bluffing hard. Becca joined, laptop glowing audits. "Donors circling back, your story's gold. But Dad's health. Doc says stress metrics off charts." Guilt gnawed Jonathan through eggs. "I pushed too public." Nathan's foot nudged under table. "We did. For us." Night in a chain motel, they clung, bodies map of comforts, whispers weaving security. "Remember Coney?" Nathan murmured. "Grinning like idiots. That's our core." Dawn brought verdict teas. Judge's chambers huddle. Rumors swirled. Settlement urged. Harlan's lawyer approached in hall, slick. "Private word? Drop suit. Your father funds a foundation. Queer youth, your pick. Bait, barbed." Jonathan countered. Full retraction. Public apology. No foundations on lies. Harlan overheard. Face ashen. Post-chambers, he pulled Jonathan aside, rare, raw. "Take it. For Ma. She's breaking." Eliza's absence? Dementia whispers. Becca confirmed later. Early stages, Harlan shielding. Pity pierced. "Then stop the war, Dad. For her. For me." Harlan's nod was ghost. Trying. But suit pressed. Morning reconvened. Judge Ellis ruled. Dismissed. No merit to claims. Countersuit for harassment stands. Gavel fell. Cheers erupted from rainbow side. Grumbles from logs. Harlan rose, defeated, shuffling out alone. Outside, media mosh, mics thrust, questions barbed. Nathan shielded, arm round waist. No comment, family time. They drove to estate, snowmelt rivers carving roads. Eliza greeted frail, hug bone thin. Heard the news. Proud. Johnny. Harlan in den, staring fire. "Lost today," he grunted. Jonathan sat opposite. "Win for truth. Can still win us." Talk turned tentative. Business autopsy, Eliza's care plan. Nathan offered. Auto know-how. Could tune the fleet green. Harlan eyed wary, but grunted assent. Truce. Threadbare. Betrayal's final twist. Nights later. Anonymous tip to Jonathan's phone. Video. Grainy. Harlan at bar. Post-verdict. Toasting old ways with allies. Vowing fight from boardroom now. Smear campaign 2.0. Leaks to press. Painting Jonathan ungrateful opportunist. Rage white-hot. Jonathan stormed estate. Nathan trailing caution. Harlan denied, but phone records lied, calls to same cronies. Last stand. He admitted, defeated. Thought you'd fold. Nathan's voice steel. He doesn't. We don't. Ultimatum reversed. Jonathan's. Step down, Dad. Board votes you advisory. Eliza moves to city, our care. Harlan's laugh bitter. Exile. Healing. Jonathan countered. For all. Harlan acquiesced. Slow surrender. Board meeting. Jonathan elected chair. Pivots announced. Sustainable cuts. Pride partnerships. Media spun redemption arc. Donors flooded. Spring bloomed literal. Cherries in Central Park. Their walk hand in hand. Nathan proposed expansion. Queer logging co-op? Train kids like us. Jonathan laughed. Kissed temple. Brilliant. Like you. Eliza settled in assisted wing near Brownstone. Harlan visiting weekly. Awkward teas turning to tales. One evening. Fire escape perch. Harlan to Jonathan. Saw your strength. Mine's borrowed now. Hug first real. Love you, son. Nathan watched, soft. Family, remade. Summer's heat wave baked the city, but their Brownstones fan word cool reprieve as Jonathan pored over ledgers. Harlan's legacy? Now hybrid. Timber yields funding eco-grants. Queer apprentices swinging axes under rainbow flags. Nathan sprawled floorward, sketching logos. Hail roots, growing forward. Laughter punctuated. Nathan's mimic of Harlan's grunt over these newfangled apps. Eliza thrived in her sunlit apartment. Puzzles with Becca. Nana visits blending marinara with maple. Harlan's calls. Once commands. Now queries. How's the South 40 planting? Need hands. Jonathan's replies warmed. Bridges mending plank by plank. Yet the stand's echo lingered. Non-profits gala. Jonathan keynoting. Love demanded I rise. Now, let's lift others. Nathan beside, proud beam. Post-speech, Harlan cornered them. Ty askew, but eyes clear. Heard you. Meant it. Donate the cabin youth retreat. Your stamp. Gift stunned. Dad. Harlan clapped shoulder. Earned it. Both of you. Nathan extended hand. Harlan took. Firm. Welcome, son-in-law. Renewal ceremony that July. Same clearing, but swells. Loggers toasting with craft IPAs. Activists dancing to fiddles fused with hip-hop. Vows evolved. Jonathan's. Through betrayals and births. You anchor me. Nathan's. From chaos to calm. Your home. Rings reslid. Kiss under arches rebuilt. Harlan witnessing. Tear-tracked. After-party lakeside. Bonfire crackle. Stories swapped. Harlan's of nom-silences. Jonathan's of city closets. Nathan's of stoop solidarities. Eliza. Wheeled close. Quipped. Finally. A wedding without axes. Laughter roared. Healing hum. Autumn brought harvest. Business greenlit by Enviros. Jonathan's book deal. Axes and altars. A queer American reckoning. Nathan's promotion. Shop foreman. Training queer mechanics. Evenings. Fire escape symphonies. Springsteen to Billy. Hands entwined. Winter's first snow dusted as they hosted Harlan for solstice. Tree-strung queer. Ornaments from pride parades. Lights rainbow-flecked. Toasts. To stands taken. Loves upheld. Harlan raised glass. Voice rough-soft. To moments strongest. Jonathan leaned into Nathan post-guests. City hush below. Quiet ceremony? Ha! Nathan chuckled. Kiss snow-soft. Loudest life. Ours. In America's vast weave. Pines to pavement. Their thread gleamed. Dramatic falls. Emotional climbs. Romantic rains. Humanistic heart. Betrayal scar faded to story. Conflict to communion. They stood. Not unbroken. But beautifully bent. love's strongest architecture. Epilogue whisper, years on, clearing plaque. Here, Hail Rodriguez vows renewed. Stand for love. Visitors trace letters. Hearts stirred. Jonathan, graying at temples. Nathan's curls silvered. Watch sun dip. Strongest yet. Always North Star.